Hello, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today, I'm thrilled to take you on a journey through an extraordinary film called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Before we delve in, I kindly request you to subscribe to our channel and show your appreciation by hitting the like button. If you haven't watched it yet, be warned that spoilers lie ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie commences within a pen filled with young baby raccoons. While they all frolic freely amongst themselves, an ominous character, the High Evolutionary, draws near to the enclosure. He stretches out his hand toward a specific raccoon, Rocket. In today's time, the members of the Galaxy's Guardians, Peter Quill, Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot, Nebula, Mantis, Kraglin, and Cosmo, the Space Dog, find safety on Nowhere and establish their central hub there. Peter is still grieving for the loss of the original Gamora and has been consuming alcohol to the point of unconsciousness. Nebula must carry him to his chamber. In the meantime, Kraglin and Cosmo engage in a mild rivalry as they experiment with their telekinetic powers. Kraglin has been attempting to master the utilization of Yondu's arrow with his fin, but he hasn't quite mastered it. From farther out in space, the entity named Adam Warlock, conceived by the Sovereign High Priestess Ayesha, speeds towards Nowhere and collides with Rocket. The Guardians spring into action, but during the skirmish, Adam forcibly removes Groot's head, though Groot remains unharmed, and singles out Rocket. Peter and Mantis endeavor to aid the gravely injured Rocket after his encounter with Adam, while Drax strives to confront the Golden Man. Just before Adam can execute Drax, Nebula impales him with one of her blades. The medical apparatus that Peter is using on Rocket proves ineffective and almost proves fatal before Nebula instructs them to remove it. Adam retreats, leaving Nowhere in ruins. While the Guardians transport Rocket to safety, he seems to undergo a reminiscence of the time when the High Evolutionary conducted experiments on him. He was designated as 89P13 and cast into an enclosure alongside 3 other animals subjected to testing: a mechanized arm otter, a wheeled-legged walrus, and a rabbit adorned with mechanical augmentations. They establish a bond with the frightened Rocket, alleviating his sense of isolation. The Guardians discover that Rocket harbors a built-in termination mechanism, liable to detonate if surgical intervention is attempted. They deduce that Adam was dispatched to fetch him. Nebula identifies the existence of a passkey capable of overriding the kill switch, yet it is held by Orgocore, the corporation responsible for Rocket's experimentation. Peter promptly leads the Guardians, excluding Kraglin and Cosmo, on a mission to rescue their comrades. Within the Arete lab on Counter-Earth, the High Evolutionary convenes with Ayesha and Adam. Their service extends beyond mere employment, as the High Evolutionary holds responsibility for birthing various races and species across the galaxy, including the Sovereign. He dispatched Adam to recover Rocket, who stands as the High Evolutionary's most prized possession. Upon attempting to subject Adam to torture for his inability to secure Rocket, Ayesha implores the High Evolutionary to desist, as she regards Adam as a son. The High Evolutionary instructs his aide, Thiel, with the knowledge of the Guardian's destination. Arriving at the Orgoscope, which houses the Orgocore headquarters, the Guardians ready themselves to breach the shield. During this time, Peter and Mantis engage in a conversation about his prolonged absence from Earth since being abducted by the Ravagers. Peter mentions his sole acquaintance on Earth might be his grandfather, unsure of his current status. Shortly afterward, the Guardians' vessel is infiltrated by Ravagers, led by Stakar Ogord. The alternate Gamora has aligned with them, secretly communicating with Nebula. Peter is taken aback by Gamora's presence, even though this version lacks familiarity with the other Guardians. Stakar equips the Guardians with spacesuits and advises them to evade Orgo sentries while seeking access to the company's records for information regarding Rocket. A different flashback illustrates Rocket's exceptional intelligence, which led High Evolutionary to keep him nearby. Rocket also witnessed the evolution of Counter-Earth, where High Evolutionary dispatched his completed experiments. He displayed a machine to Rocket, attempting to propel certain animals through evolutionary stages. However, these attempts yielded only mindless aberrations, ultimately discarded as failures. To High Evolutionary's astonishment, Rocket appeared to decipher the issue with the proteins in the organisms they employed. Descending onto the orgoscope, Peter attempts a heartfelt conversation with Gamora, only to be rebuffed due to her unfamiliarity as the Gamora he once cherished. They stash their spacesuits in an incorrect location, subsequently encountering Orgo sentries led by Master Karja. Posing as employees, the Guardians split into groups, with Peter and Gamora accompanied by Nebula, while Drax pairs with Mantis. The trio encounters an Orgo employee named Yura, coercing her into guiding them to the records. Just as they locate Rocket's dossier, the Orgo sentries give chase. Misplaced spacesuits are propelled into space, and a struggle ensues between Drax, Mantis, and the guards, during which Karja wounds Drax and Nebula. Peter persuades Yura to assist them, granting him access to their systems to deactivate artificial gravity. This diversion evades the Orgo sentries and allows the Guardians to return to their ship. In a different flashback, Rocket is depicted alongside his animal companions as they envision a life of freedom. During this time, they devise their own monikers. The otter selects the name Lila, the walrus opts for Teefs, and the rabbit chooses the name Floor, while Rocket decides on his own name after spotting a rocket soaring above Counter-Earth. The Guardians initiate Rocket's recorded account, bearing witness to the agonies he endured at the hands of High Evolutionary. The sought-after passkey is absent from the file, but resides within the recollections stored in a device within Thiel's mind. As Peter contemplates venturing out to locate Thiel, Gamora opposes the plan until Nebula reminds her that Rocket remains a part of their family. Meanwhile, Orgo sentries rendezvous with Ayesha and Adam, detaining a Ravager along with his companion, later identified as Blurp. Ayesha strives to prompt Adam to extract information from the captive Ravager regarding the Guardians. However, Adam unintentionally employs his powers to lethally electrocute the prisoner, inciting Ayesha's ire. Shortly after, Ayesha intercepts a transmission from Gamora to the Ravager, sending coordinates for her rescue and unwittingly divulging their intended destination. Simultaneously, Adam develops a partial fondness for Blurp. In an additional recollection, the High Evolutionary fervently escorts Rocket to observe his upcoming experiments. Rocket's insights regarding the animal's proteins were incorporated, resulting in perfected creatures of heightened advancement. High Evolutionary belittles Rocket, treating him as a failed experiment riddled with errors, then commands the flawless creations to be incinerated. The Guardians arrive at Counter-Earth, a realm adorned with suburban landscapes reminiscent of Peter's past. These neighborhoods are inhabited by human-like creatures with animal traits. Upon landing, Drax makes an unfavorable impression by inadvertently striking a child's head with a ball. The inhabitants respond by hurling garbage at the Guardians, until Groot's immense size intimidates them away. After assisting a Batwoman, Peter gains her aid in guiding him and his companions to her dwelling. There, they receive assistance in locating High Evolutionary Station to find Thiel. The family allows Peter, Nebula, and Groot to use their vehicle. Upon arrival, High Evolutionary's guards usher Peter into the station. In a final flashback, Rocket is shown stealing a device that aids in releasing him and his friends from their cells. Following an embrace with Lila, High Evolutionary fatally wounds Lila as retribution for the escape attempt. Rocket's anguish transforms into a frenzied attack on High Evolutionary, marring his visage with savage clawing. When two henchmen intervene, Rocket dispatches them, but not before they fatally wound Teefs and Floor. Mourning his friend's demise, Rocket flees alone. Returning to Counter-Earth, High Evolutionary's subordinate War Pig takes flight towards the Guardian's vessel, aiming to assail Gamora and Rocket. Adam encounters War Pig while she endeavors to apprehend Rocket, subsequently decapitating her. Peter encounters High Evolutionary and challenges him about his actions. The latter proclaims his intention to obliterate the planet and initiate a fresh beginning. Counter-Earth commences its devastation, along with its populace. Adam endeavors to return to Ayesha, witnessing her demise as her ship explodes. Amidst the turmoil, Peter and Groot combat some of High Evolutionary's lackeys before leaping out of a window with Theo. Groot improvises wings, sustaining himself and Peter as he incapacitates Theo and appropriates his memories. The remaining Guardians make it back to their craft amidst the planet's disintegration. In the commotion, Mantis, Drax, and Nebula inadvertently board High Evolutionary's ship. Peter and Groot, along with Rocket and Gamora, safely rejoin their ship. Nebula places blame on Drax for their situation, while Mantis endeavors to defend him, recognizing his penchant for landing them in predicaments. Peter, Gamora, and Groot rush in a frantic bid to employ the passkey and rescue Rocket. He discovers himself in an ethereal expanse, greeted by Lilla, Teefs, and Floor, as though being welcomed into the afterlife. Rocket seems poised to join them until Lila imparts that he still has an unfulfilled purpose. After sharing a kiss, Rocket revives, embracing his friends once more. Communication from Nebula arrives, informing them that she, Drax, and Mantis have encountered a large group of captive children subjected to High Evolutionary's experiments. Rocket's voice over the radio elicits joy, confirming his survival. Regrettably, High Evolutionary captures them and alerts the other Guardians. Peter takes charge of the effort to rescue their comrades and contacts Kraglin for assistance. Drax manages to soothe the captive children using their native language and infuses humor, reminiscent of his interactions with his own daughter. Alongside Mantis and Nebula, he finds himself confined with 3 obelisks, yet Mantis employs her abilities to win them over, forming an alliance for a decisive assault. Kraglin and Cosmo maneuver nowhere closer to the ship, but High Evolutionary's forces initiate an attack. Kraglin experiences a vision of Yondu encouraging him to harness his emotions, resulting in Kraglin using the arrow effectively. High Evolutionary's drones fall to Kraglin's onslaught, while Cosmo employs her telekinetic prowess to eliminate an approaching henchman. High Evolutionary's lackeys attempt an uprising met by his powers that eradicate them in an instant. Upon the reunion of the Guardians, they unite forces with Adam and Blurp. In unity, they engage High Evolutionary's army and completely obliterate it. Cosmo harnesses her abilities to maneuver the ship closer to nowhere, facilitating the rescue of the captive children and transporting them to safety. Prior to departing, Rocket discovers a litter of young raccoons and other animals, initiating an effort to liberate them. High Evolutionary confronts him and nearly ends his life, reiterating his perspective of Rocket as nothing more than a failed experiment. Yet, Rocket reasserts his true identity, prompting the arrival of the fellow Guardians who administer a well-deserved punishment to High Evolutionary. Nebula forcefully removes his face, revealing the grotesque disfigurement Rocket inflicted. Choosing not to execute High Evolutionary, they leave him to face the imminent explosion of his ship. Rocket frees the other animals, but Cosmo's powers falter, leading Peter to the brink of freezing in space. Adam rescues Peter and transports him safely onto Nowhere. Returning to Nowhere, the Guardians assemble for a final meeting. Gamora commits to continuing her association with the Ravagers, while Peter decides to finally journey back to Earth. Mantis expresses her intent to explore her personal aspirations independently. Despite Drax's offer to accompany her, Mantis insists on solitary exploration. Nebula designates Drax as better suited to care for the children, noting his inherent paternal nature while she assumes responsibility for Nowhere. Peter bestows his leadership role onto Rocket, entrusting him with the guidance of the next Guardians team. In a parting moment, Peter acknowledges that their paths will diverge, though an undercurrent of attraction and flirtation is perceptible between him and Gamora. Peter returns to Earth and reunites with his grandfather Jason. After the Guardians disband, Rocket receives Peter's Zune, playing Dog Days Are Over for Nowhere's residents, igniting a joyous dance. In a mid-credit scene, Rocket and Groot now helm their fresh team, comprising Kraglin, Cosmo, Adam, Blurp, and an orphan child named Phyla. Confronted by an approaching horde of adversaries, Rocket leads them with the melody of Come and Get Your Love as they embark on their upcoming adventure. In a post-credits scene, Peter and Jason share breakfast, discussing Jason's stepson from his second marriage. The closing text affirms that the legendary Star-Lord will return. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to share your thoughts and favorite moments from the movie in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on exciting movie recaps like this one. Do you want to keep the entertainment going? Check out this related video to see more of this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.